Welcome to another PLCHero tutorial. My name is Jim Joros, and in this tutorial, I will show you how to configure RSLinx Classic IP drivers. I will be using a MicroLogic 1100 processor, but it will be the same for any Rockwell IP device, whether it's a MicroLogic, Compact Logic, Control Logic, or anything else. The processor I'm using already has the IP address configured. If you need to configure the IP address, please see the tutorial Finding the MAC address and assigning the IP address. Let's begin by going to the Start menu. Left click, go to Programs, go to Rockwell Software, scroll down to RSLinx, left click, and scroll down to RSLinx Classic, left click. There are two ways to configure a driver. You could go up to Communications, left click, and scroll down to Configure Drivers. Or you can go up to what looks like an S, and it says Configure Drivers, left click, and under Configure Drivers, there is a pull-down menu. And on the pull-down menu, there are two drivers for the Ethernet. One is Ethernet Devices, and the other one is Ethernet IP Drivers. We will configure this driver first. This is by far the easiest driver to configure. The Ethernet IP driver automatically finds all the Ethernet devices that are attached to your network that you're going to be connected with. The advantage to this driver is that you can set up in seconds. The disadvantage is that you will have to know the Ethernet network in order to locate the PLC and all the HMIs that are needed on it. To configure the driver, click on Ethernet IP Drivers. Add New, and we'll leave it as default. Click OK. You will need to find the RJ45 portal that is connected to your PC. In this case, it's 169.168.100.149. Click Apply, and then OK. On the left-hand side, you will see the driver that we just configured. And it went out and found on the network that there is a device out there, and that device happens to be our MicroLogic 1100 processor, and the IP address is 169.254.100.148. To demonstrate how to configure the driver for the Ethernet devices, open up a new session of RSWho. Go up to the upper right-hand corner and minimize this RSWho, and go up to RSWho icon on the left-hand side, left click, and we added a new session. To configure the driver for Ethernet devices, go up to Configure Drivers, Available Driver Type, and go to Ethernet Devices. Highlight it and left click. Add New. We'll leave the name as default and click OK. When you configure the Ethernet driver, it will only show the IP devices that you enter. Generally, this is used for a large network and makes troubleshooting a whole lot easier locating a PLC or HMI. In this case, we're going to add the IP for our MicroLogic 1100, which is 169.254.100. Make sure you put the dots in there. .148. And add New. If I enter 169.254.100.149, it's going to show me the laptop with the workstation. I'm going to say Add New, Apply, and click OK. Close it out. And now on the left-hand side, we have AB, Ethernet IP, and we have Ethernet-1. I'm going to highlight this, expand this, and it's going to go out and look. Here we have 169.254.100.149. This is the portal for the laptop. And 169.254.100.148. It's out there looking for it. Be patient. There it is. It shows up. And again, and it shows up, and we now see all the devices that we enter. It will only show the devices if we enter them. In way of review, the Ethernet IP automatically sends a broadcast message to everyone who is on the network, and it only takes a couple seconds to set up. The disadvantage is that you will need to be very familiar with the PLCs, HMIs, and other devices on the network. The advantage of the Ethernet devices will only look at the IP addresses that you enter. It makes troubleshooting easier to locate in the PLCs, the HMIs, so on and so forth. You might want to consider leaving both types of Ethernet devices configured for troubleshooting purposes. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please be sure to check out other PLCHero tutorials.